I don't know if anyone here has followed Ross Edgley recently in the Great British Swim. Obviously, you must have heard about that as well. But he believed very strongly in the power of a smile. And he said he'd be kind of like chuckling to himself underwater. And, you know, that got him through so much more than a kind of angry sort of approach would work. So, I mean, the psychology side must be a key part of what you do as well.
It's massive. I mean, psychology is really, really important. I think what's interesting is a lot of people say to me, you know, when does the psychology start in the training? And it's a little bit of a strange question, because for me, actually, psychology starts on session 1. And in fact, psychology probably starts before the first session. But psychology is inbuilt constantly into the training. And I think, you know, we were talking about this earlier, about when you're taking on a new challenge, training, the reason we train is, yes, that we want to get physically better. But actually what training does is it creates an opportunity to tailor a strategy, so that what you do is you know what you're going to do during the event. And add on top of that, what I think it also does, and it does for these guys, is it teaches them what misery is truly about. You know, and it's only when you do, so in the channel, for example, we did an 8-hour training swim. And it's only when you do an 8-hour training swim that you have to create your own internal psyche. So it's things like positive self-talk make a difference. Things like, what I teach the guys is things like displacement. So what you do is, to some extent, you take your brain out. But what you can never do is think of nothing. What you have to do is replace that with something. So, and that, it depends who you're working with on what works for them. But for David, of course it is. He did the back catalogue of ABBA.
Oh my God!
And that's how he got across the English Channel. The back catalogue of ABBA, and then once he'd run out of ABBA, he then went on to James Bond, which is a big love of his. But he only knew that because that's what we developed in training. So the training process is so important, not only physically but psychologically, and then of course it's absolutely crucial technically and tactically. You know, what pace are you going to go at? What's your feeding strategy going to be? What are you going to feed on? When are you going to feed? All of those things are developed in training. And you can read a book and you can take a look at the blogs, but the bottom line is it's so personal, you have to do that in training.
So it's a little bit about disassociation as well, like you train your body to be able to do it, and then actually on the day you can think about something else and your body will just do it for you.
And it becomes automatic. Yeah. And that's where you want to be. And also, the thing that Ross is talking about smiling is really important, actually, because for the vast majority of us, when we do a challenge like a triathlon, the most important thing is enjoying it. And it's a little bit of a warped enjoyment because you are pushing yourself to the limit. But what you should do is you should cross the line thinking 2 things. Number 1 is, I gave it 100%. That was the best I could have done. And secondly is to cross the line and think, actually, that was an enjoyable process. Because along the way, you've interacted with the environment, with people around you, with other racers, all of those things. And I think training offers you the opportunity to do that. And that's why training is not an option, it is absolutely instrumental in performance.